Hey guys, part number 2 of Kinetic's 48 scale F-A-18D Hornet. Now in this part we're going to work on a cockpit tub using the RedFox 3D printed instrument panel set. Hey everybody, welcome back. Part number 3, Richie here from RW Hobbies, and exciting part, we're doing a cockpit tub. So we had to hold this back a little bit because I didn't get my stuff in the mail from Europe, so I want to continue with the build. I don't want to put it off. So as you know, we worked on ordnance and various other parts just to kind of tie us over till this week till we got the parts. We can actually work on the cockpit tub. So now we can go back in the instructions, sections 1 to 3, or part numbers 1 to 3. First of all, we're doing a seat, which comes from photo etch. Seat looks a little crude. I'm not going to put a resin one in because I got resin pilots, which we'll talk about in a couple of seconds. No real decals, I believe, for the instrument panel itself. It's all hand painting. Again, in this scale, it would look pretty gnarly if I did it. I'm not a great hand painting, expert with that. So what we've done is we've gone and got this guy, which is RedFox, and it's the 3D instrument panel set. Now, very similar to Kinetic Studios, but a lot cheaper. So if you buy, actually, these are actually pretty expensive, I think, if you buy them from third-party vendors. But if you buy them from RedFox themselves, RedFoxStudios.com from Hungary, they're pretty cheap, like half the price, but you do have to pay shipping. So I think it was like €12 shipping to the US. Euro to dollar is pretty much one-on-one-ish right now. So you have to buy a few to make up for it. So I bought 3 sets of these. Bought one for the D, I got one for the C, and I got a 32nd scale F14 set too to make it worthwhile with the shipping cost. So this itself was about €12, I think, which I think isn't bad value. The Kinetic Studios equivalent is going to be about $20 to $30. So it's all 3D printed, looking pretty awesome. You can see it in the camera, the glare, the plastic, and all the switches are raised. And these are way better, but resin Ares cockpit sets and all that kind of stuff. Or Edward, remember back in the day, the old photo etch sets. Just the 3D printed is the way to go, I think. Now, I typically don't really do so much in 48 scale. I do it more on 32nd, but this one, again, you don't have no decals, and it's pretty plain. So I figured, hey, for €12, let's add this guy in. So we'll talk about it in a little bit, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to dip it in water like a decal to release it from the backing paper, and then using PVA glue, you're going to attach these to the cockpit, to the instrument panel and the cockpit tub itself. So I've got this guy, which we'll be using in this part, and I bought the 2 pilots. So there's so many different poses and stuff. I want the canopy down, so I went with these ones, which is 480242 and 480219. So don't necessarily have like a Rio per se or a Wizzo. So we got basically 2 pilots, one with a thumbs up and one kind of adjusting his maybe his mask or his helmet strap. Very good figures, and they're 3D printed. You have to cut them off the block, so I've done that already, and you can see again. How they look, and again, we're not gonna. We'll look at them later on, so I have to worry about getting them all out of the bag and stuff right now. But so we've got 2 pilots. So because we've got the pilots, you're not really going to see the seats, so we'll just use the plastic seats and put the pilots on. And as I mentioned, part number 1, the goal with this one is configuration on the ground, about to get fired up and go taxi. So these figures and these poses are going to be perfect. Just got sat in, cockpit down, and about to get it fired up and going. So Reedoak, not cheap by any means, but it's hard to find pilot figures. And again, you get these from Europe. I think they come from France. Got pretty quick, like in less than 2 weeks, maybe week and a half, I think. And I got a few other figures to make my shipping worthwhile, because yeah, these aren't cheap at all. But where else you can get pilots from nowadays, especially good-looking ones. So that's where all the aftermarket comes in. Everything else is out of the box in this kit. The only aftermarket I got are the 2 drivers, 2 pilots, and the instrument panels. All right, so that being said, let's open up the packet here. I've not actually looked at these instructions. I'm assuming the exact same as Quinta, but okay, now let me take them out of the bag. You might be able to see them a little better on the camera. Oopsie, that was not good at all. Oh, okay, good. That just, I bent it slightly, and this piece came off, but I thought I cracked the whole thing open, which I may have done. I might have just broken off the side here, but not a problem. We're going to PVA glue it on. But again, how fragile are these? But There you go. I'm going to be careful with that one. So I think I just broke the side panel off here. But it's not a problem. It'll glue back on, no problem at all. Again, we're going to PVA glue these. Don't try to just put them on with the water like a normal decal, because they're just going to fall off. So they're the panels itself. I'm guessing, do we have instructions? Okay, we have basic numbers. And yeah, so pretty good instructions. So it tells you the original parts here. So these are the parts we're going to use. And basically all the blue parts we're going to sand off. So we're going to sand off all the detail, make it smooth so we can glue on the these guys. So pretty straightforward. So instrument panel showing where to sand it off. You've got the tub itself we're going to sand off. Yeah, look, must not be cut with a scalpel to break easily. Yeah, no way, we just did that, right? So parts can be glued together with PVA glue or CA glue, like we just mentioned. They can be washed with enamel or acrylic paint if you add a wash to them. And there we go, pretty straightforward. So first of all, before we add all this stuff, we also want to paint this up. So I'm going to cut all these parts out. I'm getting them painted in the color, which is going to be my usual MRP dark gold gray. So dark gold gray for all the colors. Well, prime them up, get them all painted up. Well, let me take a step back. So first of all, I'm going to sand the parts, obviously. Sand it all back, put instructions, get rid of all the surface detail. Then I'm going to prime it, then I'll paint it with a dark gold gray. Once that's dried, we'll come back and we will add these guys, glue these guys on, and we'll see how the cockpit tub looks, which should be a huge transformation. So these aren't difficult to use at all. Beginners can definitely use them, no problem at all. And yeah, just take case of just standing back the detail. So enough waffling. Let me go ahead and get working on this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so a little update. I've started putting this guy together and ready for priming. So sanding them all back, not a problem here. Per the instructions again. Just following the blue parts. And yeah, so using my Flooring Models medium grit sander, really it's a good size, really get in there and sand what I needed. And I came back with actually ironically with this is ISM, I think. I'm not sure what grit this one is, but it's a little bit smoother. Then it came back and just kind of sand a little bit with that. You don't have to be perfect here because again we're going to cover it with panels, so you know get it kind of smooth, but it doesn't have to be perfect because yeah we got the these parts to go all over it on top of it. So these are all done. I put the cockpit together as much as I could with, you know, because I don't want tons of separate parts. So I put the back walls on. I've glued these parts on, these side panels on the front and back because they're so tiny. And yeah, so I sanded them first and then I just glued them on place. Put the rudder pedals in because you're not going to see those, but they're painted the same color. And the sticks are in too. They're not going to be in the way so much. And I did check, and I'm pretty sure my guys don't have a handle on the stick. He's got the thumbs up, and the other one is touching his mask. So we'd have to worry about getting the stick in the right position for the hand and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. The parts here. Got the back wall here done too. And yeah, so I'm going to paint. So yeah, put all as much as I could put this together. And then we'll paint it all as one. So all these get primed up and painted. And I'll be right back, and then we can start applying these guys. Alright, so back, and you can see we're all different, all switched around because the past 24 hours I moved my man cave around and I brought some, I'm working at home full time now, so I moved some stuff around my office and brought my computers in here and stuff, which makes it a lot easier because I have to go backwards and forwards, streaming and editing and stuff, plus it's all in one nice space. So, new cutting mat, my black one was getting a bit dingy, so all changed in the last few seconds, right? So, here's where we're at with this, and I put these on, and I've got to say, I don't know if you can see these instrument panels very clearly. Let me just hold it this way maybe. There we go, one at a time. Looking pretty good. Now these are definitely different to the old Quinta Studios ones. So Quinta Studios, you're going to dip into the water and remove them from the backing paper, and then it's just a little bit easier to use. These are a little bit more brittle, so just heads up. So I basically got a couple of tweezers on the go here. I've got the pointy tweezers, which I'm using to kind of move them off the paper. And then my Tamiya decal tweezers I'm using for basically just moving around and putting them into place. So that's how we're getting on here. So let me take a step back. So we obviously got this thing painted, and I threw the Reedoak figures in too. And as you notice, we've got a bit of a problem. The front guy is about 20% bigger than the back guy. Now, I've not got any digital calipers or anything, but just by looking at the head, the size, you can see this guy kind of fits in a little bit. This guy's not fit on the chair. And I've had this problem on Reedoak before, my 72nd ones, where the figure seems like it's 7.5 foot tall. So I reached out to Reedoak, the guy's looking into it and stuff. He said he'll get back to me, but there's definitely a size disparity there. The helmet to helmet, is just bigger. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. We don't have to worry about figures right now. I'm gonna take these guys out, but I just kind of put them in place. I did drop this one and his leg broke off, and I tell you what, I looked on hands and knees on my floor for 30 minutes and I still haven't found where his leg is. So yeah, seats just built up again, but the figures on, we have to worry too much about how they're gonna look. Just kind of crudely put together. So the seats, the figures, and that's how we're looking at the actual tub itself. So painted it up, as always, MRP dark gold gray, which is MRP 100. And yeah, like I said, I applied all these yesterday. I left a couple because I was going to show you how I do them. So I'm going to use Gator Grip. And this is a really good PVA glue. Any PVA glue will work. This is a thin blend for like photo etch and stuff, and this works good for this. So I'm just going to open her up right here and just put a little bit on my so I can just move it easily. And then with a toothpick, just going to rub the glue on the surface. And in the case of like the instrument panels here, you probably just want to do a couple at a time, let it dry, and then come back and do the rest. But simple as that. I'm just going to. This is ready. Should be ready off the paper. No, it's not. Okay. So again, they're a little brittle. Just going to wedge it off with these tweezers. These are a little bit harder moving around, whereas these guys make it a little bit easier to grab it like that. And then just going to basically just kind of line it up where it should be with the inside. And there we go, that's pretty much it. Oh, and the reason I'm using PVA like this, you can see I'm moving around, I've got plenty of wiggle room. If you super glue, you're pretty much stuck, right? You haven't got much time to move this thing around if you want to adjust it. Now, in ideal scenario, you probably want to let that dry and then put on this panel, but I'm just going to do it right now for you guys on the camera. Again, just using my finger here, lining it up. Actually not too bad, is it? And it goes something like that. So it's as easy as that. It's not rocket science, just a little bit of PVA glue, and then just be patient, let these things dry for an hour or so and come back and work your way around. So that's it, we're all done with the instruments and the cockpit tub. Again, these guys are done. This is the front one. I don't want to put it in something, or let these dry first. So bit of a bummer with these Reedoaks. Again, if I hold them close together, you can see here there's quite a different size difference here. Both 48 scale. I'd say this guy's probably more 43 and this one's 48. This seems more accurate. I think this size, it fits in the cockpit tub better. This guy's just way oversized, unfortunately. And again, if you just have one figure, it's not noticeable. When you have them back to back, you can definitely see that, hey, this guy is definitely a lot more chunkier than the other one, and it's just noticeable. So there we go. So that's the figures. I'm gonna let this dry. Like I say, I painted this up already, and I need to paint the sticks black and paint up the seats, and then we can come back and kind of put some more of this stuff together. All right, so here we go. So we're done with the cockpit tub. So seats are in, pretty crude done. I didn't care too much because the pilots can go on there. So just a simple black, painted the cushions. The top part, the instructions said to paint the same color as the cushion, but reference pictures, it was just black, so FYI on there. Simple little brown wash, just pick out a few accents and some dry brushing. So just with silver Vallejo, very lightly dry brushing, both on the seats and see on the black areas, the glare shield right here, and the back. Just add some wear and tear and some weathering, really, make it a little bit more interesting. So you see RedFox looks really good for €12. I think is a pretty good deal. I think nowadays, the old Ares resin cockpit sets where you have to, carve, do surgery, major surgery, headaches and fit issues, and then even the Eduard PE, which is very 2D, I think that's all outdated nowadays. I think this is the way to go. Quinta Studios or RedFox, and you can see that I'll move this around slightly, how awesome it actually looks in there. Now, 12 euros isn't so bad, but some aircraft you're not really going to see much of this, especially when the pilots are sat in here, and you got the canopy down and stuff. Are you going to see much? Probably not, but on this particular kit there was no decals or anything going on, so this is a huge upgrade and improvement, and for the price I think it's definitely worth it. Now, not painted the figures, I've not heard back from Reedoak yet. We'll see if the guy gets back to me. Again, this isn't the first time this has happened. The scaling on my semi-second scale Tomcat over there, some of the guys look like 7 foot tall, so there's definitely some scaling issues here. Worst case scenario, if he doesn't get back to me, I'll use these guys anyway. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. From a distance, I think it'll be fine, but hopefully you can see, there's definitely difference in size there. Still not found his leg. Hopefully that shows up at some point. If not, I'll just get some like little milliput or something, milliputts, and just just extend it, because you're just barely going to see it. You just need really just a few millimeters just to get it under there, because you can actually just see where his leg stops. So just definitely do some sculpting there if need be. But yeah, I'm going to wait on that. I don't need to worry about the pilots yet. That'll be the last thing we do. Once the aircraft's built, we can throw these guys in. So no big issues at all. But yeah, this is it. Really happy again, and hopefully enjoy this episode. And I'll be back next week for the brand new part. So have a great week, great weekend, and I'll see you next week.